Good day, culinarians. Today, we're going to break down a chicken. We're going to do an 8-cut chicken. After we break down 8-cut, we're going to go ahead and cook it. We're going to pan sear it and then throw it in the oven to finish it off. So first step, we're going to break down the chicken. I've got a whole chicken here. Remember, culinary station should be set up like this, whether you're at school here or at home. You got your cutting board, your knives, your steel. For chicken, you're going to need a pan of ice. When you go to break down the chicken, it's going to take you a little while to break down the chicken until you get really good at this. So what you want to do is you want to keep this chicken out of the temperature danger zone as long as possible. So what we're going to do is when we break down the chicken, we're going to put it on ice to keep it nice and cold. Once we get finished breaking down the chicken, then we'll go ahead and cook it, but the chicken will stay within. Chicken will stay out of the temperature danger zone by staying on this thing of ice. Okay. So I also got a sauce pot here. The reason why I got the sauce pot out today, because all the scraps left over when we go to break down this chicken, I'm going to throw in here, and we're going to make stocks later on. Okay. So we're going to use this pot for making stock. You'll see that on the other videos. Remember, breaking down this 8-cut chicken. If you want to look at another chef doing it, if you go to Live Guides, I got a 2-part series on Live Guides as far as the chef breaking down chicken into 8 cuts. Now it's called 8-cut chicken because we're basically using 8 pieces out of this chicken. We're going to have 2 legs, 2 thighs, 2 breasts, 2 wings. Okay? We're not going to count the back into the 8-cut chicken, because that's going to be thrown in for our stock. So first thing, I got my steel, my knife. I want to make sure I have a really good edge on here, because I've already put it on the stone. Just going to hone it for a little bit here. Maybe a little bit of black off there from the steel. So I got my knives ready to go. I'm going to put my gloves on here, put a little flour on my hands to make these gloves go on a little bit easier. So if you ever have challenges getting your gloves on, a little bit of flour there. Remember, if you put that flour on your workstation and you use it for your hands, make sure everybody knows that that flour is being used for your hands. It's not being used to cook with. And when you're done using this, throw it in the trash. Okay? So first thing we're going to do is take chicken. Take chicken. The back of it is facing towards you. The breast is facing away from you. And you want to make sure that chicken's sitting upright. Okay? Chicken sitting upright, facing outwards. There's several different ways you can break this down. I'm going to start out by using my chef's knife, because you got to go through the bones in the back here. Once you go in the bones in the back, you're going to come around what's called the oyster. The oyster is this little piece of meat that is right here. It's connected from the thigh to the back. And when you're looking at your chicken, if you look straight down, you'll see these 2 little bumps right here. That's the oyster meat. That's the oyster meat. What you want to try to do is get around that oyster meat instead of coming straight down. If you don't get the oyster meat, it's no big deal. It's only a little bite-sized piece of meat there. So if you don't get that off, I'm okay with that. But what you want to really try to do is get around that as best as possible. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up. Take my chef's knife, and I'm going to lunge the chef knife right down the back of it, right until that oyster. When I get to that oyster, I'm going to take my boning knife and lay this down so you can see it. I'm just going to go right around that oyster. Okay? So go around that oyster. I'm going to take my chef's knife, stand it back upward, and go straight down again. Okay? Now you got your chicken split. I'm going to do the same with the other side. Take my chef's knife, go straight down, get to the oyster. You go around the oyster. And straight down again. Now I got my backbone off. I got a little bit of the oyster meat on that side, but I got it off on this side. So I got my backbone. I'm going to throw it in my stock pot for stock later. I got the chicken split in half. What you want to do is come through the keel bone here. Keel bone is right there in the center of the breast. Easiest way is I take my knife, put it right in the center of the keel bone, just tap it straight down. Once I tap it straight down, I bring the knife towards me, slide it out, it cuts it right in half, real easy. Go back on the other side. Cut it right in half. So I got half my chicken done there. Okay? So now I got half the chicken. After you make those initial cuts of splitting the chicken in half, you should not go through any more bones. Okay? What you gotta do is make all your cuts in between joints. First one, I got my leg and a thigh, my breast. I put my hand right there. There's no bones whatsoever right there. So I'm gonna take my knife and just slide it right through there. My knife goes through real easy because I keep a good edge on my knife. So I got my leg and thigh, I'm gonna put that to the side. I got my breast and my wing here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my wing, find the joint. Probably a little easier with the boning knife, find the joint. Just go around. On the wing, the tip here, find that joint there. Use your knife, play around it, go right in between that joint. Take the tip off, you don't want that tip. The wings, same thing, right in between the joint. The bone, just right in between the joint. So I got my wings there. Now on my breast, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a boneless, skinless breast. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean up some of this little stuff right here, fatty stuff. Little piece of gizzard that was in there. On your breast where it slopes down, okay? Since this is boneless, skinless, make it a little easier. I'm just gonna take the skin right off. Where it slopes down, you wanna take your knife. Now I'm gonna choke up on this knife. I'm gonna choke up, get a good grip on it. And I'm gonna let my knife just glide along the breastbone. Glide right along the breastbone. Be careful when you're taking the breast off the bone here. The chicken tender, the tenderloin is on there. You want to make sure that tender is still attached to the breast when you get done. Now at the top here, have this little bone up at the top, and usually if you're breaking down chicken, that little bone gets left behind. So I'm just going to slowly kind of get this out of here, because if someone's going to choke on a chicken bone, this is one of the bones they're going to choke on. So I'm just going to take that right out of there. Get rid of some of this extra fat and skin here, so we don't need that. Okay, you got your boneless breast. Turn over, you got your tenderloin. The tenderloin should pretty much peel right out of there. Not, gently cut it with your knife. Okay, you got your breast there. On the chicken tender, once you have your chicken tender out, if you're looking at it, you'll see that little chewy thing right here. Did anybody ever have chicken tenders and you go chew on it? It's like chewing on a rubber band. It's pretty disgusting. That's what this little thing is. This is what's connected to the wing to help them move their wings. So I'm going to just take this off, slide my knife in there, take it off, get that out of there. You don't want that in. So I got my tender, I got my breast. I'll go over here to the other half the chicken here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the leg and thigh off. Now I'm feeling over here, I got the leg and thigh here, but there's a little bit of bone up here. When I went to break this down, I left a little bit of the backbone on there. That's okay, we'll get that off in a little bit. So what I'll do is I'll cut in between. Now cut it into the bone. Come up here. Okay, a little bit of backbone left on there. I'll show you how to take that off in a little bit. So we got our breast here. Now this one's going to be boneless, skinless also, but what we're doing is we're going to make an airline breast out of that. That means is we'll leave a portion of the wing still on here. So first thing, take that piece off. Now the wing, still have that drumstick part of the wing, and then the other part of the wing, that drumstick part we're going to keep on there. So I'm going to just take that part of the wing off, keep the other part on. I'm going to take the skin off because we want the boneless skinless again. You can leave the skin on that wing joint that's on there, that's okay. I'm going to take the breast off the bone like I did before. I'm going to choke up on my knife. Let the knife run right on the breastbone there. Right in there. Make sure your knife goes right across the bone there. Make sure you don't cut into that tenderloin that's there. This one's a little bit more challenging because you left that wing part on there. Okay? Get all this meat right off of here. There's that bone sticking right out there that I don't want in there. I come over to the joints here. Just take that down. Some stock. And check, make sure I left a little cartilage here. Take that off. We'll take the tenderloin off here. It's going to come right out. I'm going to check, make sure I didn't leave any bones in this chicken breast here. It's looking pretty good. Clean up just a little bit here. Okay, boneless, skinless airline breast. Chicken tender. Take that little chewy thing off of there. It's kind of broke on me, but that's okay. Chicken tender there. Now I'm going to go into the legs and thighs. Okay, legs and thighs. Got a little extra skin and stuff on here. I'm going to take that off. Now on this one, this is the one where I left a little bit of the back on here, That's all right. It's really easy to get this back off. So I'm going to take it, grab the chicken in one hand, grab it with the other hand, hold on to the back, and if I just bend back, I'm going to separate it from the joint. Pop right out there, and take my knife, and cut around that. It's going in the stock. Now I have my leg and thigh. On the leg and thigh, to separate the leg and thigh, you can see on this leg and thigh, there's a yellow line there. That yellow line is going to tell you that's where the joint is for the leg and thigh. So if you take your knife, run it right where that joint is, right where that line is, you can go right through the joint. So now I got my leg, got my thigh. The other side here, I got a little piece of the back on there, so I'm going to cut that right off. A little extra skin there. Okay, I got my leg and thigh. Turn it over. See that yellow line right there? That tells me that's where I need to cut. Also, I'm going to stick my finger in there. I can feel the separation of the joint right there. That's where I'm going to cut. Right through, no bones, just straight through the, between the leg and the thigh. So, when you're finished, you should have 2 thighs, 2 legs, 1 breast, 1 airline breast, 3 wings, because we had separated those 2. The other one we left on the chicken, so you got 3 pieces for the wing. You got your chicken tender and your second chicken tender. That's what it should look like when you're finished. And hold it, like I said, until it's ready to cook. You're just going to keep it on the ice. Keep everything right on the ice. Alrighty? Thank you.